Hello, and welcome to A Blessing a Day. I'm so glad you've joined us for this moment of reflection on the Divine Word. Today, as we delve into the readings from the book of Numbers and the Gospel of Matthew, we are invited to witness a profound truth about our human condition: the longing for sustenance, both physical and spiritual. In our world, where we often find ourselves chasing after the next miracle or miracle worker, these scriptures call us back to the essentials: the faithful provision from God and the abundant grace that surrounds us every day. So, let's open our hearts to receive the blessing of God's Word today. As we begin with our first reading from the book of Numbers, we encounter the Israelites in the wilderness, beset by weariness and complaint. They lament, "Would that we had meat for food!" Their memories of abundance back in Egypt weigh heavily upon them, even as they have been set free from slavery. Here, we see a paradox of the human experience. In the face of divine provision, the miraculous manna that fell from heaven, they still find room for dissatisfaction. How many times do we find ourselves in similar circumstances? God provides our daily bread, yet we often focus on what we do not have, rather than celebrating the blessings that surround us. Moses, the great leader, shares in this distress. "I cannot carry all this people by myself, for they are too heavy for me," he cries out to God. In his plea, we encounter a very real human experience. Sometimes, the burdens of life can feel overwhelming. Perhaps you have felt this way at some point, the weight of the world pressing heavily upon your shoulders. It is vital, dear friends, to remember that God is ever present in our struggles, ready to offer support and clarity. Moses, too, found a way to turn to God with his burdens instead of letting them consume him. This sentiment resonates powerfully with the gospel passage from Matthew. We find Jesus, having just heard of John the Baptist's death, retreating to solitude. Yet, the vast crowds follow him, hungry not only for food, but for hope and healing. It's a scene that reflects our relentless search for fulfillment, never too far from our hearts. Jesus, moved with compassion, doesn't dismiss them. Instead, he responds to their needs. The disciples, however, see only the scarcity in front of them. "We have only 5 loaves and 2 fish," they lament. This moment echoes our human tendency to focus on our limitations rather than in God's provision. But Jesus takes what's available, blesses it, breaks it, and gives it to the disciples, who then distribute it to the thousands in attendance. This is a miraculous multiplication of resources that speaks to the heart of the gospel. God's grace is enough, and it is overflowing. Pope Francis once said, "The Eucharist, as a sacrament of mercy, gives us the strength to fight the illness of hopelessness that afflicts so many." A Mass celebrated also illuminates the path of our brothers and sisters who are struggling, who ask for help and comfort. This is the essence of the miracle we read about today. Jesus doesn't just feed the hungry, but transforms their very understanding of abundance. With God, scarcity does not define our reality. As we reflect on these readings, let's make room in our lives for gratitude. It's so easy to fall into patterns of dissatisfaction and forget the many blessings that grace our everyday lives. Perhaps you might take a moment to think of one small blessing today: your health, a friend's smile, or even a simple meal, and recognize how it is God's provision in your life. We can also ask ourselves, how can we be instruments of God's provision to those around us? Just as the disciples were called to share the little they had, we too are invited to extend our hands to those who are yearning for hope and sustenance in our communities. Whether through acts of kindness or sharing resources, we are called to continue the cycle of generosity that reflects God's love in the world. As St. Augustine once noted, God provides where He guides. So, as we navigate the challenges of our days, let us trust that where God leads, He also provides. In these moments of sharing and service, we experience the true miracle of community, the acknowledgement that we are not alone, that in God we find strength, support, and sustenance. As we close today's reflection, I invite you to bring to mind your own burdens, your own needs, and to lay them before the Lord. Let's take a moment in silence and invite God into each situation, trusting that through Him we can find hope and renewal. May God bless you abundantly today and always. Remember, each day brings new mercies. May we open ourselves to receive them. If you found this message meaningful, don't forget to subscribe to A Blessing a Day and share this video with your loved ones. Together, let's spread the love and hope found in the gospel. Until next time, may you go forth nourished from this reflection, and may the peace of Christ be with you always.